Now, let us see the elections which are conducted in the percentage of people participating. See, conducting elections in India is not an easy task, what we have discussed earlier. So, let us see the percentage of voters which have been here. See, in 1952, we have 46% of people turning out as voters for us, eligible voters. In 1985, it went to the par like 64, so max, and 2009, it is 58. So, recent elections. So, now we have nearly 60% of people having the complete awareness of the entire election process, they are utilizing their right to vote. Let us check the statistics which are given of the elections of 2009. See, in 2009 when the elections are conducted, as it is given for us in the textbook, I shall discuss the main key concepts for you. See here, the number of constituencies are same, 543. The total number of voters are 71 crores 69 lakhs 85,101 members. It is really larger than a group of nations' entire population. For example, if you take in Europe, you have 3 or 4 countries' population equal to this. But in India, we have only the voters list who are eligible to vote. There are many people who are not eligible to vote under the age of less than 18. Those people population, we have removed that. So, we are having this much population. And then moving on to the number of candidates who filed the nominations are 8,070 members, and staff we have 46 lakhs 90,575 members working for it. So, it is really an interesting thing, and later developments what we can observe is that we started to have clear and there should not be any pressure on any of the voters, because India is a country where caste dominates, India is a country where religion dominates, India is a country where the owner dominates the worker who is working under his factory, India is a country where the owner of a college can determine them, his members or the college students to vote towards him if he is contesting in that. So, there are various things which pressurize them. So, the election commission makes sure that there should not be any pressure and there are free and fair elections to be done. So, at the election spot, they have started to deploy the special staff of police recruitments, special police personnel standing there in order to avoid any kind of disturbances which are going to be caused to the voters, to provide safety and security for the voters. We have special observers coming there. In 2009, we have nearly 1 lakh special observers appointed only to look at the elections. It's a great task. And moving on to further developments, we have special trains deployed for this purpose. We have special helicopters in case of emergency. Nearly 55 helicopters were deployed to check whether the elections are run properly or not. So, in this process, India has got upgraded from its 1952 to 2014 elections. We have seen the changes, but the right to vote did not change. People have the right to vote. Election Commission ensures that everybody will get the right to vote, to be done in a free and fair manner. This is a really tough task. So, now we shall discuss and shift our focus to what are the powers of the President, Prime Minister, Vice President, all these people. Stay on there. We have a doubt whether all the laws of the nation are made in the Parliament only or not. In actual ground reality, the constitutional framers have provided certain division of rights for the union government and the state government. If you take the subjects which are like defense, forest, there the laws are made by the Parliament. When you take the subjects like police, education system, where regarding to state education, or the police sector, or the road transport system, all these fall under the authorities of the state governments. So, how do we come to know all these things? So, we have a clear division in the constitution mentioning for us the division of the subjects known as let us see here. We have the special powers for the central subjects like what I told you, military, defense, all these come under the central subjects where the parliament is given the extensive powers to make laws on that particular subjects, like India's relation with the foreign countries, foreign policies, diplomatic powers, all these will be done through the central list. It falls under the central list, so the parliament will make laws on that. Moving on to state list, like for example, you take AP Road Transport Corporation, then you move on to the local things of the state will be coming under state list. Here the state government is entrusted to make the laws and not the parliament. Parliament does not make any laws which are required for a state. In case of the special request by the state government only, then president can consider and refer it to the parliament, but most of the time state governments only will frame laws for the state of that particular region. And moving on to the next list called concurrent list. In this concurrent list, either the state government or the central government can make laws on a particular subject. But if there is a clash of the laws which are made either by the state government or by the central government, then the laws which are passed by the central government, that is by the parliament, would become the final law, and the laws which are made by the state will become null and void. So like this we have the division of the powers, which ensures them to make their own subjects to make their own laws. It's a great system, the division of the powers. It is the beauty of the federal system, which ensures and respects the authorities of the states as well as the authorities of the union government. But in case if there is any conflict between these two, the authorities of the union government or the laws which are passed by the union government will prevail over the laws which are made by the state governments. Let us now find out what are the powers of the union government, especially the president, then prime minister, then move on to the vice president. Let us see. Moving on to the role of president and vice president. Let us see now. We have in the Indian setup the president, then under him we have the vice president, then we have the prime minister, under him the council of ministers, then under him we have the cabinet. So now let us see here. President. The president of India is elected by all the MLAs of the states and both the houses. So the president of India is elected indirectly by the people of India and directly by the people's representatives. In the same way with the vice president. So the president and vice president are elected indirectly by them. So the powers of the president and vice president are just nominal heads. They don't have any real authorities to execute them. Yes, the constitution has provided certain provisions where the president holds a prestigious position and he is not like the authorities which are entitled with certain powers, but he is having the powers which are divided into executive powers, legislative powers, judicial powers, diplomatic powers, military powers, all these, but he is bound by the advice of the prime minister. The vice president acts as chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and in case if any meetings which are to be attended by the president, if he is absent, obviously vice president takes the chair. And both the bills, like any bill which is passed by the parliament, should and must get the approval of the president. Then only the bill will turn into an act. These are the powers of president and vice president in a very brief manner. Now moving on to the most powerful person in the Indian parliament is set up, the prime minister. So the prime minister is none but the elected member of the ruling party or the party which is having more number of seats in the Lok Sabha will elect their party leader. The president will call him and appoint them as the party members. Then he will in turn appoint the council of ministers. So these council of ministers are the team of members who assist our prime minister. We also have the cabinet, where 3 or 4 key portfolio members will be there who act as super cabinet and determine the main key functioning of the government. Here we have 2 points to be remembered. One is law making The other one is executing. So, the Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha are entitled to make the laws. It also ensures that these laws are executed properly through a systematic government. So, it is a duty of the Parliament to elect a government. In this process, the members who are having majority in Lok Sabha will have the right to elect their leader, and President will appoint him as the Prime Minister. So, he makes sure whatever the laws are passed by the Parliament are executed properly, as he is the chief executive under the name of the President, because in India everything goes the nominal head Mr. President, but officially he is bound to the advice of the Prime Minister. So, the real authority lies with the head of the Prime Minister. So, now the law making is done in Parliament, the executing is done by the government. The government is Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers headed by the President, and he have thousands of government employees who are ready to assist him. This is the process how the action of the law executing goes on. So, when the Council of Ministers are going on, the government or the ruling party will have the say either to modify the existing laws or to change the existing policies, which has to be approved by the Parliament and which has to be reachable to the people. And we also have the administrative heads for the various departments. The entire work of the government is divided into various departments like Finance, Railways, Defense Ministry, Environmental Ministry, Petroleum Ministry, Shipping Ministry, like this. We have different portfolios, which is like for the administrative convenience of the government has divided the workload into different parts and allotted different ministers in charge for that politically, and looking after the IAS and the IPS senior most officers are appointed as chief secretaries of that particular department or the principal secretaries, who look after the entire department in the administrative manner to carry out the administration properly and to assist the political executive, the minister who is sitting there. So, in this way, we have the law making body is the Parliament and the executing body is the government to do the benefits for the people who have elected them. India is really a great country where the Parliament works successfully from the past 60 years, where in some other places the parliaments have failed. It has turned into some other way. Some of them have lost the system actually, but India has been successful. Though India hails to be the largest populated country, where ever since in any part of the corner of the world, we never have seen this kind of large number of voting to be done. Even in USA, we don't have this much population. That is the reason why India to be considered as the greatest democratic country, where true democracy lies in the parliamentary elections, the procedure of the parliaments and the execution of the laws. That's all we have from this lesson.